Welcome to the Insight-Driven CIO podcast, where technology leadership meets strategic clarity. I'm your host, Mark Sundergaard. Each episode, we break down the decisions, tools, and strategies shaping the modern IT landscape. Today, we're exploring a growing challenge for enterprise IT leaders: how to fund transformation when there's no new budget. Let's start with the reality CIOs face today. As always, they're being asked to do more than ever. Modernize infrastructure, improve resiliency, support cloud and AI initiatives, enable growth, reduce risk. At the same time, budgets are flat, or in many cases, shrinking. So you get this tension. Of course, the business still expects acceleration. Finance expects discipline, and IT is expected to deliver both. This is the budget paradox. Transformation is urgent, but funding is constrained. Most organizations assume their biggest limitation is lack of budget, but the reality is a significant amount of budget is already sitting inside their telecom and network services environment. The problem is it's hidden because costs increase over time when three things fall out of alignment: inventory, contracts, and billing. And when that happens, you start to see overbilling, unused or underutilized services, outdated pricing, and missed leverage in negotiations. It's not one big issue. It's hundreds, sometimes thousands, of small inefficiencies that build up over time. This is especially true in enterprise environments shaped by acquisitions, legacy systems, and decentralized decision-making. So if the opportunity is this significant, why hasn't it already been solved? Because it's not a simple problem. Data is fragmented across carriers, contracts, invoices, and internal systems. Even organizations with tools in place often lack a complete sourceable inventory. And internal teams, they're already stretched thin. They don't have the time to normalize data, validate billing, benchmark pricing, and renegotiate contracts while also running day-to-day operations. So what happens? The opportunity is recognized, but never fully captured. This is where we're seeing a real shift in how organizations approach cost. CFOs are prioritizing initiatives that are outcome-based, low-risk, and measurable. In other words, performance-based models. Instead of investing upfront and hoping for results, organizations are looking for approaches where value is proven first. One example of this is a shared savings model, where there's no upfront cost and no payment unless savings are actually delivered and validated. Put simply, no savings, no cost. That changes the conversation entirely. When organizations address this hidden layer of spend, the impact goes well beyond cost reduction. Now, they have options. Savings can be reinvested, used to fund modernization, support network upgrades, improve resiliency, and enable new initiatives. In many cases, transformation doesn't even require new budget. It just requires unlocking the budget that's already there. For CIOs, this creates a foundation, a clearer understanding of what's actually in the environment, better inputs for decision-making, and more confidence in modernization planning. For CFOs, it's about measurable impact, hard dollar savings, improved financial visibility, and the potential to improve EBITDA or earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization without cutting capability, and importantly, without creating additional internal burden. But there's one factor that often gets overlooked: execution. A lot of cost optimization efforts fail, not because the opportunity isn't there, but because they require too much internal effort, too much coordination, too much data gathering, too much follow-through. And in a stretched organization, that's where things stall. So the ability to achieve results with minimal internal lift is not just a benefit. It's often the difference between success and failure. So the next time the conversation turns to budget constraints, it's worth reframing the question. Instead of asking, where do we find budget? Ask, how much budget is already hiding inside our environment? Because for many organizations, the answer is more than they think. Thanks for listening to the Insight-Driven CIO podcast, where visibility, efficiency, and simplicity drive transformation. For more insights, visit EnTelegent.com. Until next time, lead with clarity and act with insight.